Hi, welcome to today's class. We're going to work through a 30-minute vinyasa flow inspired by the ocean. Today's class is all about backbends for beginners and it's going to be a lot of fun. But what the intention of today's class is, it's all about intuitive movement, moving with your body, not against it. We're going to be rolling through a lot of spinal waves and I want you to do what feels right for you. Now that may look different to everybody, but that's okay. We want this to feel good and be fun. So we're going to start today's class in the middle of our mats in a comfortable kneeling position. Gently resting the hands on our thighs. We're going to inhale, lifting the chest, raising the crown of the head to the sky, and exhale, relaxing the shoulders back and down away from our ears. One more time, inhale, lift the chest, crown of the head towards the sky, and exhale, release, dropping the shoulders. On your next inhale, we're going to find a lovely gentle arch in our back body, bringing our chest through our shoulders and raising our heads to the sky. And on our exhale, we're going to push back, rounding our spine, tucking our chin to chest, finding a lovely rounding sensation of the back body. Again, inhale, start to arch the spine, bring the chest through the arms, head to sky. And exhale, slowly start to round the spine, bringing chin to chest. We'll go through one more round of this. Inhale, arch the spine, chest through the shoulders, shining up to the sky. And exhale, pushing back, rounding the spine, tucking chin to chest. And then slowly come to find stillness. We're going to place our hands out in front of us, coming hips high, finding a nice all fours position on the mat. We're going to keep our hips high for this position and we'll walk our arms out in front of us, placing our hands slowly, one step at a time, further and further away, keeping our hips high to the sky. This is a lovely stretch for our front body. And then slowly you can bring your chin, your chest, your forehead to the mat, or you can just let it float. We're going to use our breath here to help us deepen into the stretch. Inhale, filling the chest, and exhale, allowing it to dip deeper down towards the mat. You should feel a lovely stretch all along our middle and lower back, along the tops of the shoulders, the arms, all along your chest. And slowly we're going to start to walk our hands back in towards us, finding an all fours position. We're going to run through a few rounds of cat and cow. So on your next inhale, we're going to drop the belly, lift the chest through the hands, looking up towards the sky. And exhale, rounding the spine, tucking chin to chest, push the mat away from you. Find a lovely dome of the upper back. And inhale, drop the belly, chest comes through our arms, and exhale one more time, rounding the spine, doming the back, pushing the mat away, chin to chest. Now we're going to do the same movement, but we're just going to add some back and forth movement as well. So you can imagine it as flowing like a wave through this cat and cow. So on our exhale, we're going to push the mat away, moving forward, shoulders tracking over wrists. And on our inhale, we're going to start to drop our belly and bringing our hips back towards our heels. And again, exhale, start to round the spine, shift the weight forward, shoulders tracking over wrists. Inhale, drop the belly, start to bring the hips back towards the heels. And exhale once again, rounding the spine, shifting the weight forward, shoulders coming over wrists. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head, moving hips back towards our heels. So just imagine this movement as a wave coming into shore and crashing, slowly retreating back out to sea. And once again, exhale, push the mat away, shoulders tracking over wrists, and inhale, drop the belly, arch the spine. and coming back. Just do a few more rounds of this in your own time and do what feels good for you. It may not look perfect, but that is fine. It's all about what feels good for you. Wakening up our back, stretching into every vertebra, and slowly come to find stillness in all fours. We're going to push up towards our first downward facing dog of the class. So tuck our toes under. We're going to lift our knees off the mat, bringing the hips high towards the sky, and start to straighten out the legs. You can start to pedal the feet, stretching into the hamstrings. Let the head hang heavy, shoulders back and down, away from our ears. You can find a slight bend in the knee to help you find a lovely straight spine, and hips high to the sky. On your next inhale, we're going to look forward, slight bend in the knees, and start to walk our feet towards the top of the mat. When you arrive, we're going to inhale, straighten spine, lift up, halfway lift, and exhale, fold forward all the way down over our legs. Try and lean the weight into our toes, really helping us to deepen this back bend. Feeling a lovely stretch all along the back of our legs. And then slowly on your next inhale, we're going to start to rise up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Head and neck coming last. Roll the shoulders back and down, and arrive at the top of your mat into Dasana. We're going to come through one round of Sun Salutation B. So on your next inhale, we're going to bend our knees, sweep our fingers along the mat, lifting the arms high beside our ears. We can find a slight back bend here in our chair pose, and exhale, folding forward over the legs. On your next inhale, halfway lift, straight spine. Exhale, plant the palms, step the right foot back, followed by the left, plank pose. On your next exhale, drop your knees, your chest and chin to the mat, keeping your hips high. And on your next inhale, we're going to start to slide our chest forward through our palms, and we'll come up into a baby cobra, using our back muscles to help lift our chest off the mat, gazing up to the sky. You can even lift your hands off the mat to intensify this stretch, wakening up the back body. Place the hands back on the mat. Exhale, tuck the toes, pushing up through knees and hips coming high to the sky, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, I want you to bend your right knee, look forward, placing your right foot between your palms. Stay bent into that front knee, come up into Warrior One. Our back foot drops down, turning the foot 45 degrees. We're going to try and stay low into this front hip, reaching high to the sky. And exhale, we're going to bring our hands back down to the mat, frame out that front foot, step the right foot back. We'll come through your chaturanga, so either on bent knees or leaning forward over our wrists, coming down halfway. Inhale, pushing the chest high to the sky, hips stay low, upward facing dog. And exhale, push back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your left knee towards your chest, look forward, plant your foot between your palms, drop the back heel, turning the foot 45 degrees. And on an inhale, we're going to come up to Warrior One on our left side. Stay low and bent into that front knee, keeping active through our arms. And exhale, plant the palms down to frame the front foot, stepping back, plank position, coming through your chaturanga. So that can be on bent knees, coming down into baby cobra, or cobra, or even moving up to up dog with our knees and thighs off of the mat. And then on your next exhale, pushing back, hips high to the sky, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we're going to look forward. We're going to bend our knees and either walk, step or jump to the front of the mat. On your next inhale, we're going to halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, sweep our fingers along the mat, bend the knees, coming back into chair pose. Finding that nice back bend once again, sticking the tailbone out, raising our chest to the sky, and exhale, straighten the legs, drop our arms, coming to a standing position at the top of our mats. On your next inhale, we're going to find chair pose once again. So bend our knees, sweep our fingers along the mat, raise the arms high to the sky, and then again you can find that lovely back bend here. Finding an arch of the spine, and exhale, fold forward all the way down over our legs. On your next inhale, we're going to halfway lift, and again we're going to come through our chaturanga. So stepping the right foot back, followed by our left, plank pose, shifting the weight forward over our wrists, coming down halfway. Inhale, pushing the chest high to the sky, knees and legs off the floor, and exhale, pushing the hips high to the sky, downward facing dog. We're going to start to move in our downward facing dog. So similar to the beginning of class, we're going to find a lovely wave motion through our downward dog. And again, move intuitively here. Do what feels good for you. So we're going to start to shift the weight forward, rounding through our spine, tucking our chin to chest, bringing the shoulders over our wrists. And once you've reached your max, we're going to drop our knees, arch the spine, looking up and pulling the hips back towards the heels, and high again into a lovely arched downward facing dog. So that was one cycle. And now we're going to move through this with your own breath, moving forward on your inhale and pushing back with your exhale. Again, take this in your own time and do what feels good for you. So rounding through our spine, shifting our weight forward, shoulders over wrists, and inhale, drop the knees, arching the spine, lifting the hips back to the sky, finding that lovely arch in the lower back. Exhale, we're going to find that lovely round of the spine as we shift our weight forward, shoulders over wrists. And one last time, arching the spine, bringing our hips back to heels, and then high. We'll find our downward facing dog. Very well done. On your next inhale, we're going to look forward, lift our right knee and bring it towards our chest, stepping it through our palms. Drop the back knee to the mat, untuck the toes, bring the hands up to our hips. We're going to come to a low lunge. So we're going to take a nice big inhale, straighten our spine. I want you to place the palms on your lower spine and start to push the glutes back and away from you, creating a nice space in our lower back. On your next exhale, we're going to start to bend into this front knee, bringing the hips low to the mat, and continue to push those glutes back and away, creating space in our lower backs. And then you can start to shine your chest through to the sky, finding this lovely back bend here. Try and pull your elbows towards each other, helping to open up your chest. And exhale, push back up, relax the spine. Come to a nice neutral position. We're going to come back into this pose. This time you can even clasp the hands behind you, helping you to open your chest that bit more, or you can keep your hands on your lower back to help you find that space, whatever feels good for you. So on your next exhale, we're going to start to bend into this front knee, lower the hips to the mat, open the chest high to the sky, find that lovely back bend. You can even start to drop the head and neck back if that feels good. One more breath. And on the inhale, we're going to push back up to our low lunge. On your next inhale, we're going to tuck our back toes, bring our hands to our waist, and we're going to lift the back knee, coming to a high lunge. On your next inhale, I want you to raise the arms up, parallel to the ears. We're going to move through a lovely back bend motion in this pose. So you can watch me for the first round, and then we can do it together as a class. On your next inhale, we're going to raise the spine up high, and exhale, start to lean that torso forward, bringing the hands out in front of you to catch this imaginary ball. On your inhale, we're going to bring that towards our chest, cactus the arms open to the side, finding a lovely arch of the spine, bringing the chest up and through towards the sky. And exhale again, folding forward over that front knee, catching our imaginary ball and bringing it in towards our chest, cactusing the arms out, opening the chest. Now we can do it together as a class. So take a lovely big inhale and exhale. We're going to bend forward over that right knee, catching our ball out in front, and inhale, bringing it back towards our chest, opening our wings up and out to the side. And one last time, we're going to reach forward, catching that imaginary ball. Inhale, bring it back to the chest, open your arms out wide, finding that lovely back bend. And inhale, we're going to raise the arms up high, coming back to our high lunge. And exhale, we're going to sweep the hands down to the mat, framing that front foot, stepping back into our plank pose and coming through your chaturanga. Lowering down halfway, inhale, pushing the mat away, lifting the chest high, coming through the upward facing dog and pushing the hips back, downward facing dog. So again, we're going to repeat that lovely wave motion that we did in our first round in our downward facing dog. So again, try and move with what feels good for you. Again, the main focus is to warm up our back bodies. We're going to try and envision that lovely wave motion. So on your next inhale, we're going to start to shift the weight forward, doming the spine by pushing the mat away from us, bringing shoulders over wrists. And on your inhale, we can drop the knees, dropping the belly, finding a lovely arch in the back body, pushing the hips back up to the sky, and exhale, rounding the spine, doming the upper back, bringing shoulders over wrists, and again, dropping the knees, dropping the belly, pushing back, hips to heels, and then high towards the sky. We can find stillness now. On your next inhale, we're going to lift our left foot towards our chest and step it through our palms. Drop the right knee towards the mat, and we're going to come up to our low lunge. You can place your hands on your hips or set them on your lower back, pushing your glutes back and down to help you find space in this back body. Inhale, open the chest, and exhale, start to bend into that left knee, bringing the hips low towards the mat. And then again, we're going to find a lovely arch of the spine, lifting the chest high to the sky. Trying to deepen the stretch as much as feels good for you. And exhale, pushing back up, coming to our low lunge. Again, this round we can clasp our hands behind us, helping us to open our chest to the sky, deepening our back bend, or you can keep your hands on your lower back to help you find space. Inhale, open the chest up, and exhale, start to bend into our left knee again, bringing our hips low to the mat, and open that chest high to the sky. Lovely. We're here for one more breath. And exhale, pushing back, coming to our high lunge on our left side. We can bring our hands to our hips, tuck the toes of our back foot, and we're going to lift that back knee off the mat, coming to our high lunge. On your next inhale, we're going to sweep our hands high again, and we're going to come through our round of our wave flow on our left side. So again, if you want to watch me for one round, we're going to lean forward, torso coming over that left knee, reaching this imaginary ball out in front of us, staying nice and strong through our core. And inhale, bring that ball back towards your chest, open your arms in a cactus, and find that lovely arch in the spine. Exhale, once again, lean the torso forward, reaching the arms out, catching that ball, bringing it back towards our chest, opening the arms, and finding a lovely back bend. So now we can do this all together as a class. On your next exhale, we're going to start to lean forward, reaching the arms round out in front, and inhale, bringing them back towards our chest, opening our arms, cactusing them out wide, chest high to the sky. And one more round, we're going to reach round, Catch that imaginary ball. Stay strong through our core. Inhale, bring your hands towards your chest. Open your arms up and find that lovely back bend. On your next inhale, raise your hands up high to the sky, high lunge. And exhale, we're going to plant the palms down to frame the front foot. Step back and come through your chaturanga. So again, you can come down on knees, bending at the elbows, come through to your baby cobra, or even up dog, whatever feels good for you. And exhale, push back, downward facing dog. I hope you're ready to flow like the ocean one more time. We're gonna follow our breath, start to move forward slowly, doming through the back, rounding the spine, tucking chin to chest. When you've reached your max, drop the knees, drop the belly, lift the chest and chin, and push the hips back towards our heel and then high towards the sky. Feeling that lovely massage all along our spine. Again, coming forward, doming the back, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, drop the knees, drop the belly, pushing the hips back to the heels. Coming high and finding stillness here. On your next inhale, we're going to look forward, bend both knees, and we're going to walk, step or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we're going to bend our knees, sweep our fingers along the mat, and come to our chair pose, our favorite. Unlike most classes, I encourage you to tuck your tailbone. But because we're trying to find our lovely back bends today, we're going to really encourage you to tip your tailbone out and find a nice bend in our back here. Even reaching the head and neck back. And inhale, straighten the legs. Drop the arms, come to standing. Ooh. We're going to come to a nice standing back bend here. So I want you to bring your feet out, hips width distance apart. I want you to place your palms on your sacrum. You can stay like this and use your hands once again to help you push down, finding space in your lower back. You can even intensify this by flipping the palms, fingers facing your shoulder blades, which will help you to keep that space in our lower back as we start to push the hips forward, leaning the upper body back. You don't want to engage your glutes too much because that will stop you from reaching the full extent of your back bend. However, you do want to keep it engaged enough to support your lower back. So we're going to inhale, raise our chest high to the sky, and exhale, find a slight bend in our knees, and slowly start to shift those hips forward, leaning back, way back, fall back, and even drop the head back. Staying here. And inhale, slowly come up. I almost lost my voice. Exhale, release the hands down behind you. Oh, if that felt really intense for you, we can take a quick forward fold to counteract that back bend. So you can grab opposite elbows and just lean all the way over our legs slightly, rocking side to side. Although we don't want to counteract it too much because we really are trying to warm up our spine. However, if you're starting to feel any pains or niggles, definitely take those counteractive moves to help loosen out any pains. So we're going to come back into our standing back bend. Take your time, take a breath to calm the nervous systems. Back bends can be really intense, but they can also be really energizing. So let's use this energy to help us in our class. So once again, inhale, chest high. We're going to place our palms on our lower backs, either fingertips facing towards our shoulder blades or pushing our hips away. And exhale, we're going to start to push those hips forward, keeping a slight bend in the knees to help us find our balance, leaning the upper body back, letting the head drop if it wants to go, or you can keep it high, whatever feels good for you here. We're going to stay for a few breaths, but once again, do what feels good for you. inhale, come up to standing. Well done. So good. On your next inhale, we're going to bring our big toes together, heels slightly apart, and find our chair pose. So bend our knees, sweep our fingers along the mat, coming up chair pose, finding our back bend here, and then slowly we're going to start to lower our hips down to the mat, coming to a seated position. Whew. You can place the hands on the mat. Now we're going to find a kneeling position when we're on the mat. We're not done just quite yet. We're coming in to our peak posture, so rolling over your knees. We're coming into a kneeling position. I want you to lift the hips high, up to a high kneeling position. Bring the knees wide as the hips. And you can either tuck the toes or keep them untucked. We're going to come into a camel pose. So again, if you tuck the toes, this brings your heels higher. And as we reach back and try and grab the heels, this makes it a little bit easier. Although if you're starting to feel really comfortable in your back bend, you can untuck the toes and it gives you that little bit further to reach. In this pose, the intention is to shift your hips as far forward as possible, creating space in your back body to help you lean back, fall back, reaching those heels. So again, do what feels good for you here. If this is too intense and you don't feel like you can reach your heels at any point, keep your hands on your lower back. Again, you can push those glutes back and down to help you find space in the back body and just lean back as far back as feels good for you. But if you do feel like your back has started to warm up, I'm going to invite you to raise your left hand up and round and start to lean back, catch your left heel with your left hand, and then we're going to repeat that on the right side. So we're going to lift our right hand up, circling it round, reaching back to find our heel, and then start to push those hips forward, creating length and space in the back body. And then again, if it feels good, you can let the head hang and complete this lovely back bend. We're here for 3 breaths. We're going to inhale, slowly come up. So come to the tippy top fingers of your hands. Start to lift your head if you'd let it fall back, and releasing one hand, bringing it back around to the front of the body and releasing the second. We're going to come down for a quick child's pose. So untuck the toes, bring the hips back down to the heels and walk the hands out in front. Resting your elbows on the mat, followed by the head, the chin. Taking a quick counter posture. And inhale, slowly walk the hands back. Again, we don't want to counter this pose too much because we've done such a great job of warming up our backs. So again, coming high on the knees, we're going to find camel pose again. So if you feel really good and really confident, I invite you just to go straight back into your camel pose. You can even try and untuck the toes to deepen this pose. Or again, hands to hips, leaning back. It's all about finding movement in our back. It's not about overbending or overstretching. We want to slowly get there. It takes time. So on your next inhale, raise the chest high to the sky. Look back over our left shoulder. We're going to circle our left arm wide and round, reaching back for our left heel. Once you've got a hold, we're going to sweep our right hand round in lovely circular motion, reaching back, finding that right heel, and once again, drop the head if it feels good for you, or keep it high, and start to push those hips forward. Stay active in this pose, don't jump back into your hands. And we're here for 3 breaths. On your next inhale, tuck the chin to the chest, release one hand, bringing it round, and release the other, slowly lifting the hips high to the front of the mat. And then slowly bring those hips down towards our heels. We can find a gentle child's pose again, so bringing our forehead down to the mat. You can even rest your arms down alongside your legs And just take one breath here. Again, try and calm the nervous system. Backbends can be really intense in the body. Just relaxing here. And slowly coming up to a nice kneeling seated position on the mat. If you are starting to feel any tension in the lower back, you can lie down on your back, bringing your legs up against a wall and resting them high in the air. This will really help to loosen out any pressure in the lower back. We're going to come down to a seated position, so lean over to your left side. We're going to untuck our feet and kick our feet out in front of us, coming to a seated position. We're going to slowly bring our arms out in front of us and start to roll down vertebra by vertebra onto the mat. And slowly release the back down, release the palms of the hands, lay them alongside you. We're going to bend our knee, placing the soles of the foot on the mat, and start to walk the feet back towards you, so that if you can gently brush them with your fingertips. You want to keep your knees hips width distance apart. We're going to move into bridge pose. Grip the mat with our feet to help us lift the hips high off the mat. You can clasp your hands underneath your sit bones, bringing the palms of the hands together, and even walk the shoulders underneath the upper back to help you find height in this pose. You want to keep the chin pointing up to the sky, working the chest towards the chin, not the opposite way around. And just remember to breathe. Activate the glutes to help push those hips higher towards the sky. Ooh. We're going to get a nice shower here. One more breath and exhale. Release the hands and slowly lower the hips all the way back down to the mat. We're going to come back up into bridge. Just take a moment. Just let the back rest along the mat. You can even sway your knees side to side to find a gentle massage in that lower back. And when you're ready, I invite you to come back up to bridge, lifting the hips high to the sky, clasping the hands, walking your shoulders underneath to help you find height. Keep the legs engaged. Knees should be parallel. Don't let them splay out to the sides. Chest working towards our chin. We're here for 2 more breaths. And on your next exhale, we're going to slowly release the hands and let our hips fall back down to the mat. We're going to come into our last bridge pose of the class, or if it's in your practice and your back is feeling really bendy, lovely and strong, you can move straight into wheel. So for anyone who wants to continue into bridge, I invite you to come back up now. Remember to clasp the hands underneath you, walk the shoulder blades under the back, lift the hips towards the sky. But if you want to move into a bridge pose, we're going to bring the palms of our hands and place them alongside our ears, fingers pointing towards our shoulders. Remember to keep the heels of the feet nice and close to our hips, knees parallel to each other, elbows in. We don't want our elbows on our knees to splay out. We need them strong. We're going to push up with our hands, lifting our hips and come to the crown of our head. And then we're going to push through our hands, lifting up into wheel. And slowly bring the crown of the head back down to the mat. And the shoulders, the middle, lower back. You can release the feet, release the hands back down to the mat. Release your hair if, like mine, it gets stuck. And then we're going to slowly heel to our feet out to the sides of our mat and bring our knees in towards each other. You should feel a nice release all along the lower back. And inhale. We're going to bring our left knee towards our chest, followed by our right. We're going to find a nice counter for that back bend. That can feel really intense. So just hold on to both knees and gently rock and roll the spine side to side, massaging out that lower back. Lovely. You can even bring your forehead to your knees. Hug your knees towards your chest and even find a nice rock and roll up and down the length of your spine, whatever feels good here. And then slowly release your legs down to the mat. We're coming into a supine twist. We're going to bring our left knee towards our chest, bringing our arms out wide, shifting our hips towards the left, and then bringing that left knee over to the right side. Looking over our left arm. That's lovely. Releasing your lower back. Just taking deep breaths. Breathing into any pain or nose. Letting your belly expand. Back to center. We're going to straighten out the left leg, bending our right knee, and swap sides. So slightly shift our hips towards the right, bring the knee across the body over to our left side, and look over that right arm. You should fill the belly up with your breath, breathing down deep into any pains we might be feeling in our lower back. And exhale, release that. And your next inhale, bring your knee back to center. Bend both knees towards your chest, bring the soles of the feet towards the sky. We're going to take our index finger and our middle finger and pistol grip our big toes. We're going to find happy baby. This should feel lovely on our lower back. So we're going to gently rock and roll side to side, massaging out the lower back, pulling our knees down towards our abdomen. You can even give the legs a little stretch if that feels good. Stretching one, stretching the other. You can stretch both legs at the same time. And come back into your nice happy baby. When you're ready, slowly bending the knees, release the toes, coming back down onto the mat. We're going to move into our final pose of the class, Shavasana. So unbend the legs. So bring the feet down to the widest corners of the mat. Let the arms relax out wide beside you, taking up plenty of space. We're going to take one deep inhale right down into our bellies. Let the ribs expand, collarbone lift. And exhale, release it all out. Taking one more breath just like that. Inhale. And slowly exhale. Try and let go of any tension you might be holding in the body, especially in our lower backs. Just relax and breathe deep into those areas, helping you to loosen and soften, slowly melting towards the floor. Going to slowly start to bring back small movements to the body, wriggling the fingers, the toes, circling the wrists and the ankles. Bringing our hands up overhead, finding a nice full body stretch. And exhale, release the hands, bend the knees. We're going to roll over onto our favorite side. We're going to place our palm down in front of our face and gently push up to a comfortable seat on the mat, keeping the eyes closed down. You can cross the legs. Gently keep the eyes closed down. Take a deep inhale, filling the belly up, expanding the ribs, lifting the collarbone. And exhale, release, letting the shoulders fall down. One more breath, just like this. Inhale, fill the belly, expand the ribs, and exhale, relax the shoulders down and away from your ears. We're going to bring our palms to our heart space, bow our heads, and take a moment of gratitude for your body. Not only for carrying you through this class, but for carrying you through life, for being strong and beautiful. Namaste. Thank you for taking today's class. I really hope you enjoyed my Backbends for beginners. If you have any feedback, please leave it in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.